What's up, everybody? It's K4K Crypto here. It's good to be back making a video for you guys. Everyone freaking loved the first one, so if you haven't seen part one explaining some of the important game theory of PulseX, a lot of people are sleeping on it, in my opinion. They didn't do any research. Maybe they looked at another dex's performance and now they think that's how this should perform. I don't think that is a great metric because this has never been done at this level before. So, watch the first one and then check this one out because I'm not going to cover everything in the first one in this video. So, I got a bunch of people talking or wanting to see the second one. I gotta make myself small. What's going on here? Okay. Yep. People wanted to see a part two because they had all these questions that hadn't been answered, and people in the comments below were asking great questions. So I wrote up just like a little talking points, and I'll go over them, and then a bunch of stuff I'll just go off the top of my head. So what people asked was, how will tokens, how will there be tokens left if they're being bought up so fast? Well, that's a great problem to have if it's being bought up so much there's no tokens left. But to quell anyone's worry about that, like, oh, there's automatic buy pressure, there's so much. What if we run out of tokens? It's never going to happen. And here's why. So, in a liquidity pool, whenever tokens are in a pool, in a pair, the price of that token that keeps getting bought up just goes higher and higher and higher, and there's less and less and less of it in the pool. It will never be emptied to zero as long as there's one liquidity provider. So it's just not possible. Because of how the automated market maker works. So there's no risk of we're just running out of tokens. Uh-oh. It's not like it's draining it from your wallet. If you're not in the liquidity pool, you're not losing any of your tokens. So the price goes up really high because everyone else has got bought up and you're the only guy left. Okay. Well, you own at that point it would be insane value. So that's not likely to happen. But it's just an extreme scenario. Like if everyone else has got bought up, then the price of yours would be like almost omega infinite. So the next thing is I want everyone to remember that everyone, no matter who they are in the world, they are participating in the market. Your buying power is either appreciating or depreciating, depending on what you hold. If you're just holding dollars, probably depreciating your buying power. So people who aren't involved in the market and buying things that increase their buying power in the future they're just playing the market incorrectly. And it's unfortunate for people who just don't have the time to think about these things, about how the money system works, because you have to go to work every day. You don't have time to think about what are you really working for, and you don't have time to think about is there a better way. Well, crypto is that better way, and these are the new cornerstones of the best crypto ecosystem. It's being built before our eyes. We are going to be the early Genesis holders of some of the most influential projects in crypto history. So that's how I see it. Richard's found a way to be able to build infrastructure in a decentralized way where he wins, we win, and he only wins if we all win. So he's incentivized to make the whole system work well, and we get to be a part of it. Alright, so let's get to the next one. People are worried about the OA sacrifice amount affecting price potential because it'll look like it's a high market cap. People are afraid, this is also for Pulse too, people are saying, well, how can Pulse ever get to $1 if that means the market cap will be 150 trillion because there's 150 trillion supply. So if it gets to $1, it's 150 trillion supply. 150 trillion supply. And the answer to that is market cap does not mean that's how much value, like you can't withdraw 150 trillion out of 150 trillion market cap. That's never been the case for any market cap metric. If you sell an amount, it brings everything down with it. Like it depends what's liquid in the trading pairs or the limit order book if you're using a CLOB, which is central limit order book. That's what like all centralized exchanges are. So there's no market cap does not mean the price can't go higher. It literally is just what's the total supply and what was the last price traded. If I make a token that has 1 quadrillion supply, I mint it all myself, I hold all of it, I send or I my friend buys $1 worth of I give him one token for $1. Now technically the market cap of my coin I just created is 1 quadrillion dollars. Does do you think the price can't go higher? People can't buy more? It's it's silly. People think that market cap actually matters for price appreciation. It may be like that in stocks where it's more like locked down and it's been vetted and checked out for like 100 years. People have been controlling the stock market. A lot of people can't participate in the stock market or don't have time. But in crypto, all the world's money is unlocked. Anybody can get in, and we're able to make this value so quickly because it's distributed globally in an instant. You're just like, okay, we've literally created a new money that's better than the other stuff because if it's appreciating more than everything else, it's the better money. As long as it's still secure, as long as you're able to withdraw it and actually buy things, you've created better money. So people are able to build stuff like that. Like Richard makes just better game theory, which makes things appreciate more likely. When you do that and people perceive value in the thing that's getting more and more rare, that's where you get people buying and that's where you get people pushing the price up. So that's all it is. It's all perceived value. Obviously, if I create a coin and like we make 10,000 of them, if I have no community, if no one believes it has value, then it won't have any value. So community is very, very important. All right. Now, one thing I'll talk about. I'm not bashing on Hex. I'm just using it as a comparison for this. So in Hex, it's awesome. You gain trustless yield. That's super cool. No counterparty. You get more coins, and people push some new supply out into the future, which means they can't sell it now. So it allows more price appreciation. But the vast, vast, vast majority of price appreciation comes from the buying up of the price. Comes from buying up the price. So like if you staked Hex day one to now, you only got an extra 2x in value. So you that's not a whole lot of interest. Now you doubled your coins, so if you did a 10,000x, you like in USD value, you actually since you doubled your coins, you did a 20,000x full ROI. So yeah, you got an extra 20, like an extra 10,000x for staking. That's pretty sweet. But you can achieve the same exact result if you just had 2x in value by someone buying up the price 2x and you never staked it. You know, you never had to lose your chance to sell or anything like that. Now, protecting people from the ability to sell helps them get more ROI. But if you were just going to hold anyway, you would have gotten that return regardless. So if you have a system like PulseX where there's literally programmed buying involved, that could push the price up more than 2x, in my opinion. Or you would just get more returns faster. You're not getting more coins that can be multiplied. But if you were going to do 2 times the returns or more anyway, then it doesn't matter that you don't have double the coins. You got that appreciation. You already got it. You just already did 20,000x. You just didn't get more coins. Maybe you did 100,000x because of the buying. Anyway, so let's get to the next one. So people are wondering about the yield token, the secondary token. And some people don't even know it's a two token system. I still see people saying, "Oh, it's just the third tier Richard Hart project," and we'll get to that. And they think it's just one coin, and they say it's inflationary. It's not. PulseX token is not inflationary whatsoever. Quite the opposite. It only ever gets more rare. There's no way to get more share of it unless you market buy it or sacrifice for it. I don't think people who sacrifice or market buy are the people who want to dump it because why would you? It's just being automatically bought up. You sell things that automatically appreciate? I don't. We, so, but back to the yield token. All right, so the yield token is going to be controlled the initial like inflation to all the pools is going to be initially set up before launch. Like you don't have to use the DAO to decide the very first pools to be incentivized. So that token, people are wondering, well, how does it have any value? What can I do with it? Well, if it's similar to Uni token, that thing did like 40x or more, and it literally does nothing. Literally does nothing. I don't know why it did it 40x or more. But hey, people actually held it. Now the thing is, no, this isn't from Richard or anything, and it's just a potential thing. Like for Uni, people have hope in the future of them turning on the switch in the system that does the revenue share of the transaction volume on the DEX. And then Uni holders are hoping that they get some of that revenue share as rewards. So maybe that's why they hold it. And that could be the same reason why people hold this PulseX yield token, not the PulseX token. Because they're hoping that maybe in the future some of that some of the DEX's volume will be funneled into only the holders of the yield token. That's why I think people would hold on to it. I'm not saying that's definitely on the roadmap or the case, but that could be forked in, programmed in the future. So maybe that's why people hold on to it. It's a speculative play. The only reason okay, why do people think BTC is becoming more valuable or more rare? It's because there's less inflation every 4 years. There's going to be less inflation over time, a diminishing inflation rate in the yield token as well. So people who get in earlier and are getting a bunch of it, and you're able to farm more of it in certain pools where you use it as a token in the pair. If you want to do that game, you can do that and get a whole bunches more of them. If you plan to hold it long term, hoping for that huge payoff potentially if it ever becomes a revenue share stream. Um, that is a potential use case for the yield token. And so yeah, people think Bitcoin gets more rare even though it inflates every year, but since it inflates less, they think it's getting more rare. Okay. They think there's this 21 million limit which can just be changed at any point if they wanted to fork it or something. So people say, "Oh, hard limit, hard limit." It's all socially enforced anyway. People were like, "You know what? Majority of us would like it to be 42 million." Then that's how it would be. It's what people want it to be. So, okay, here's another one. Yield token needs more value. Understand. Oh, yeah, I said we are the ones who assign value to something. What makes Bitcoin valuable? Oh, I already did that one. Oh, people say it won't pump. People say PulseX won't pump because they think because people sacrifice that that's all the money in the world and no one else can buy after that. Hmm. My question is, so they're saying people saying it won't pump. My question is, where's the PulseX sell pressure going to come from? Where's it going to come from? Are people getting more of it, and they have to sell it? for some reason? Are they getting extra yield and then they sell the yield? No, they're not. They're not doing that. They're not getting any more. You're never going to get any more unless you market buy it. And guess what? The platform is constantly just buying it up off of the automated market maker. The price will literally appreciate by you doing absolutely nothing. So you can sell into that to capture the appreciation if you'd like. Okay, so what you're telling me is the only way the price goes down is after people have seen it appreciate a lot. Oh, well, that seems like the coin I want to hold. There's not extra reason to dump because no one is actually gaining any more of these coins to have extra to dump. I have a little. Oh, well, I got a lot of stuff to go over. Well, we'll get to that. There's a lot of these questions in the comments of this tweet. I just wanted to get through them. Not necessarily all the best game theory questions, but I want to address them so people have answers. Oh yeah, and like I was saying, where's the sell pressure going to come from? Well, I don't know where that's coming from, but I do know where a continuous stream of buy pressure is coming from. Like for a fact. it's it's just like I know this one guy, he just always puts $100,000 into this one crypto every day. So you're like, well, there's less sell pressure than that. That means I should buy that token if that's what that guy's gonna do. The price is just gonna go up and I don't have to do anything. That's how price goes up. Buying, not selling. Lots of automatic buying, no reason to sell unless you unless you want to take profit, which means you made profit. It's crazy. People think you need to earn extra tokens for a crypto to be valuable, but what really matters is the price going up. People have been asking for a video on how to sacrifice. I'll release one because I already said I would once sacrifice phase starts, just for people who have been watching me recently. By the way, everyone who's been following, liking, and subscribing, you guys are awesome. Every time I look, even when my Twitter is blowing up, every time I look, I'm just amazed because I don't know how. I guess a lot of people are very interested in this stuff, and it is very good information. And I have to do a lot of research to figure this stuff out because no one else has it figured out apparently. So I'm happy to share it with you guys. I think it's more valuable to the community if we all understand this to the max degree as possible. And not every person in the world has to understand it to this degree to understand it's a good investment. This is just more higher level stuff to make you more confident, and hopefully you can describe it better because you to other people because you understand the base layer understanding of it. All right. Oh yeah, people call PulseX exchange Richard's third tier coin. And so they think it's third tier because they heard of it third. And that doesn't make it the third best. Just because you hear about something after you heard about other things doesn't mean that thing is worse than the first thing you heard about. I'll give you an example. Elon Musk started a company called PayPal. It became a $225 billion market cap company. Then his second company, he started SpaceX, $100 billion. All right, did a little bit worse, but still a successful company. Now, you probably wouldn't want to invest in his third one because, it's his third company. It's called Tesla. Well, that one is $1.1 trillion market cap. So where are people getting this idea that just because you heard of a thing third, it's third best? I don't. People can count to three, but I don't know, man. So imagine missing out on Tesla because it was Elon's third project. You have to some things you have to build infrastructure for before you can build the really amazing thing that you wanted to the whole time. So I think Richard, I don't know if he had this whole plan from the outset, but I think owning a portion of an exchange, like holding parts in PulseX shares, you are becoming in the gold rush. There was people who sold shovels to the gold rushers, and those people made all the money. The people selling the shovels. You didn't have to do any risk and hoping you found gold and hoping you found the right area and you spent all this money getting there, and sometimes people just found nothing. They bought all these shovels and equipment, useless. But the shovel sellers got rich. So, being the exchange and owning a portion of it and getting a little bit of everything else that's trading on there, people hoping to get gold, well, a little bit of your hope, that's coming to PulseX. You're helping us. You're helping the people who are selling you the shovel. You know, we have an awesome exchange. It's the cheapest fees of other than PancakeSwap. Cheapest fees for users. It's going to be the most liquid. Going to be super fast. Base layer 1. Buyback and burn on the exchange token. It's going to have way more pairs, more trading pairs than any other DEX in the world. That is trading opportunity. People looking to find gold. Now, not everybody's going to quit other crypto and only join Richard Heart projects, even though they probably should. They're going to keep trading Shiba Inu coin. They're going to find a Pulse version of Shiba Inu. They're going to buy some new whatever coin. It has a cool logo. I'm going to buy it. I have 10 million of them. Who cares what they buy? If you're holding PulseX coin, you're getting 21% of whatever fee they use to get in and out of that coin. And this is just continuous every single day. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be showing cool things. Here, while we're here, I guess I'll show you this. So just Uniswap, not including, does this seem enough? I don't know, let's get you in there. What? Oh. Oh, what's happening? Okay, there we go. All right, so this is the fees in 24 hours of just Uniswap v2. It's not v3. It's not including the Sushi swap or the other swaps. That's the fees in one 24-hour period. That means if we got something similar to Uniswap over on PulseChain, we would just be like, and 21% of that's just going to be used for buying PulseX today. Thank you. Plus, we have to add up the fees that are also on, and that's just every day. You just add it up. So let's go down here. Ooh, top tokens. I got stuff in the way. All right, let's go to fees. All right, so you look at these. See these fees? If you're a PulseX holder, you just look at all this and you go, you should be foaming at the mouth like, sweet, that's going to be 21% of that. That's coming to us. 21% of that. 21%. Oh, buy pressure. Buy pressure. Buy pressure. Buy pressure. Every day. Every single day. You can do, let's see, volume. I think this equates to like almost $100,000 every, like $95,000 every what is it? Every 7 days. Just for that pool. Just for one pair. And so that's awesome. So if we go back, let's go to the overview. So this is in 24 hours, and 21% of this is, I have no sound. Oh, whew. All right. So, so we got 21% of that. So we'll say 200K, 250K or so. You multiply that by 7, we got like $1.5 million or more every week just buying, and that's amazing. Actually, no, it'd be like 2 or 3 mil. Something like that. Yeah, something like that. That's pretty awesome. And we should have even more than that because we have more pairs and whatnot. Did I go over here? Oh, I didn't even get to that awesome thing yet. Oh man, that's gonna be. All right, got some more questions. This should answer a lot of questions. So if anyone has these questions in the future, I'm literally just gonna tell them to watch this video. All right. All right, think about PulseX Decks this way. All right, PulseX Decks is a company whose service is the best global trading experience for users, which allows them to make free yield on providing ERC20 liquidity if they got copies for free. So those people are incentivized heavily, which is 90% of crypto users, probably 95 or more, are on Ethereum and they, or at least have Ethereum and tokens on there. They are going to have value over on the Pulse chain that they can now make free yield on. So that's our service, best global trading experience. PulseX company receives revenue share from every trade on the platform, potentially hundreds of millions of dollars a year. It uses this 21% of revenue from fees to only buy back shares of its company stock. It buys PulseX only. So it's like a portion of every trade was funneled, like on the stock market, it's like a portion of every trade was on everything, was just funneled into buying Apple stock. Well, how do you think Apple stock is going to perform? Are people upset that they're not getting more Apple stock for holding it? Or are they really, really happy and awesome and super excited that the price just keeps going up because the company just keeps buying it up? That's that's what PulseX is. And you don't have to do anything. You just wait for the amazing appreciation, and the growth of the ecosystem brings everything up. It especially helps PulseX price. So, all right, go here. So it is still true. We can't program people to buy a token. You can't make someone buy a token. That is true. But we can program the things they do buy or sell to end up buying Pulse X, even if they don't want it to. So you can normally incentivize the idea of buying and selling, or buying and holding a coin uh, as a valuable idea, but Pulse X is different. It is literally programmed to appreciate. Pulse X is literally programmed to appreciate. That is amazing. I mean, in Hex, we say it's programmed to pump because we have lots of game theory in there that incentivizes people to just hold it. That's cool. But in Pulse X, you're incentivized to just, where is it? You're incentivized by the future appreciation of the product because it will come as long as the Pulse X ecosystem and Pulse chain pans out. Now, the only way Pulse X doesn't work out with price appreciation is if it fails entirely and there's no adoption over on the Pulse chain. Then we would have no volume, and then we wouldn't have any buyback or burn, and you're just holding a token for a DEX that no one uses. Now, that is something, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think Richard makes things that fall flat on their face, and he put a lot of work into this, and they're putting their best foot forward with this. They're making sure it works right on the test net. I do not think we have to worry about no one wanting the cheapest network, layer one, the fastest transaction times, the best delegation of validators. No one really cares about that. We're talking about the benefits, but this is kind of a technical talk. But technically, it's just built better, and this better built system encourages people to be a part of it rather than any other system. And so we should see the adoption, we should see the buy pressure. Yeah, so PulseX is a constantly growing giant that absorbs what could have been buy pressure for something else. It now is forced to buy PulseX instead. Now, what does that mean? So, whenever someone makes a trade, a portion of their fee, it would have been given to the LP provider, but is now set aside and only allowed to buy PulseX. So that portion normally could have been in the token that was traded. That LP could have technically held it, like a baby. So they could have held it for a long time, keeping the price of that token up. But instead, that portion is guaranteed to be put into PulseX instead. And so what would have been buy and hold pressure for the other token or other tokens in the system is now definitely turned into PulseX instead, which means buy pressure. We're basically stealing, not stealing, they're enjoying the best decks in the world. So everybody who's making trades or whatever, they're helping PulseX's price. Everybody, anybody who trades over there. And I just think that's. Oh yeah, I was saying they're stealing uh basically a portion of everything that would every little it steals a portion of the gosh. Some of the money that would have been held in other tokens is now held by PulseX. It gets the money instead. So I think that's really cool. And it's on a continuous basis. So 21% of what could have been held value for other coins is instead sold to buy PulseX on a continuous basis. Now, people are like, oh, that means everything's going to dump but PulseX? Oh, here's another question to answer. Individually, for each coin, this isn't like detrimental for their price performance, but it is significant buy pressure for PulseX when it's all gathered up and focused into one coin. So this little fee for every coin that could have been holding buy pressure, it's now for PulseX. It doesn't really hurt each individual coin, but whenever you coalesce all of that into one entity that buys only PulseX, it becomes a lot of money and a lot of buy pressure. So that's super cool. Yeah, I got a lot more to talk about too. I have to go through all these tabs. All right, so we're just getting through all the questions I saw in the Twitter. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be insane when we look back in maybe 2 or 3 years of basically all this free value that Richard's creating that people are going to get for free, even if they didn't know about it for a whole year. The amount of value that Richard created for users on Ethereum is going to be out of this world. Like without him and his team, no value would have been created. Nothing, because we'd still just be on Ethereum and talking about stuff. But it's only being created because he and his team are putting in countless hours, making sure this system is a success. So they want it to succeed every bit as much as we do. And depending on how Pulse Chain ecosystem performs, we could see in the future that Richard created literally billions of dollars of free airdrop value to people around the world. Literally going to be known as the biggest philanthropist the world's ever known because because with how fast crypto appreciates, and if he didn't create it, it wouldn't exist. He is creating this value for the whole world. So I think that's something people need to give him respect for. Right, so that's enough of that. That anymore? Yeah, I should stop sniffing. Yeah, if you haven't liked the video, go ahead. It helps the algorithm, I believe. All right, let's go to something super cool. All right, so the buy and burn function, what can we expect from that? So just a day ago for PancakeSwap, they burned, now it says 86 million. That's not how much was bought and burned. This is what was bought back from the market. And we are going to have a higher burn amount or buy and burn percent than they are. They're 0.05 and we are 0.06. So that's like 15% or more of a buy and burn. And they have like around like billion or so or less. Actually, no, it was like 500 million to a billion volume per day. And so over 7 days, because I do this once every Monday, then we can expect to see like five to $10 million of buy pressure a week. That's amazing. How who's gonna where's the sell pressure gonna come from, guys? We're just it's just being bought up from all the activity on the exchange. It's gonna be crazy. All right. Now some people they were hoping for the inflation. They wanted to be able to stake their PulseX and get more PulseX, and then then they get more over time. They feel like they have more. I don't know why I keep sniffing. Picture this scenario. You own 10 out of the 100 coins that are available. Now there's going to be two different scenarios. Now buy and burn goes in and buys up 1 out of the 100 supply. This is in the PulseX scenario where there's no new inflation ever being minted. It's only as much as it starts with. So now there's 99 total PulseX and you own 10. So you have increased your percentage of the shares in ownership of the token without doing anything. The system just bought it up. Now you're 10 out of 99. So you just increased your buying power, potentially. So then we'll take option 2. Now imagine you own 10, and this is in an inflationary system like Pancake Swap or so, where they print so much of these coins and give it to so many people that they just use it as yield and sell it down all the time. And that's why the cake price, does everyone in Cake did amazingly. Cake did amazingly. Cake did 230x in less than 6 months, with a with an insane inflation amount. Imagine if we take those reins off, or the shackles off that's holding them down of that inflation, and then we increase the buy amount even more, another 15%. Where's that price going to go? There's nothing holding it down anymore. It's only people people have to get it, they have to market buy it. That's the only way you're getting it. And if you don't market buy it, the bot's going to market buy it, and it's going to push the price up, making it so you can't get as much. You want that appreciation for yourself. So you're just, oh my gosh. It's a race against you and everybody else, and now also the bot. The bot's buying it all up. If you don't buy it, Sally realizes how good of a deal it is, and she's going to buy it up before the bot, hopefully. And so we've almost added a new market buyer to the whole market. Not the whole market, but to our PulseX market of like people who can actually purchase it. Well, now you don't have to worry about Joe and Jim and everybody else in the whole community buying it and pushing the price up, making you get a worse deal. Now you have to worry about this huge Omega whale guy who just has infinite money and he buys every day. That is the bot. He buys up the token. You can't get more. You you can't get more than the guy who has infinite money, because everything else that's being traded, it gets it gets a share of that. You're never gonna. That guy will always be buying it up. You can just hope to ride along with him. It's like he's the biggest whale in the system, the platform itself, and he only buys it. And you know what he does with it? He doesn't sell it down ever. He burns it. He just gets rid of it. He's like, you know what? For the good of the company, I'm going to reduce the amount of shares that get this payout. I'm going to remove these off the market, and now there's less of them. And so whenever another buy comes in, there's even less of them on the market, so it's even more expensive, but it'll keep buying it. It doesn't care what the price is. I think I want to be there for whenever that guy's buying constantly. That's my plan. Anyway, I didn't finish the inflation story. Got off on that tangent. All right, here's the cake inflation. So every 2 months they doubled in inflation, which is important for this next little bit here. I wrote it down. It's just a little thing I made up. So it's similar to the first one. You own 10 of the 100 PulseX. Actually, no, this is Pancake. So you own 10 of the 100 Pancake, and say you get 5 more Pancake, because it's inflationary and you staked it. So you're like, boom, 50% more holdings. That's what's up. Well, if the if the total supply doubles in 2 months and you only made 5 in 2 months, then you actually are more diluted than you were before, even though it looks like you gained more coins. Now, say you even doubled your position. You doubled it. So you went from 10 to 20 cake, but now the supply total is 200. Well, you just broke even. Now you still have the same exact amount of the total. 20 out of 200 is the same as 10 out of 100. Whereas on the other side, without having to do anything, you own 10 out of 99, which is better than 10 out of 100. So, your your share of the supply on the pancake version would has still shrunk even if you doubled the amount of coins you had in 2 months. So, yeah. Unless you're outpacing the inflation, you're getting diluted. Well, let's think about PulseX. Okay, how do I outpace inflation? Oh, I just hold it because it can't be inflated at all. You it's just so simple. You don't have to do anything with it. No staking. You don't have to risk it somewhere. I mean, maybe you can use it as I got something to get into later. But anyway, yeah. Your share ownership increases over time only. Only. You only get more of the total supply, never less. So your buying power should increase because I don't see how this isn't correlated to the actual price as well of the token. It's because once there's a pair against something that has a value and you can get to US dollars with any of these tokens, you can have a US dollar value. And in this pair, the one side just keeps getting more rare and more valuable. So it's going to be worth more dollars. That's how I see it. All right, let's get to another one here. All right, here's a cool pumpamental I'll get to. All right, so some of you big brains out there might understand where I'm going with this, but you know how on the PulseChain network we're going to have very, very little fees, like a 10,000th of a billionth of a dollar. That's how much a one Gwei transaction is on PulseChain at the start. That's how cheap it is. So these are all the fees on Ethereum, and this is adjusted for at the time the Ethereum was used and paid for, because obviously we can look at it what it is at the current price, but that's not as exactly accurate at the time of the buy pressure potential. The other thing that's pretty cool, this number is leet speak right here. But anyway, it's $1.337 billion in 1.5 years of literally just fees that went to miners in the Ethereum ecosystem. Now, I also checked SushiSwap, it's probably the second biggest DEX on Ethereum, which we are consolidating all of this type of trading and liquidity into one on PulseX. So, these are all fees, so another 108 million in about 1.5 years. So, if we add that together, it's around like 1.5 billion or so. There's also other little exchanges we'll get some liquidity from and trading that happens on there and fees they paid add up. So $1.5 billion that instead of going to miners or validators in PulseChain can now go into the projects that we like. Wouldn't it be better if that 1.5 billion wasn't spent paying Ethereum miners? Now it's going to go into tokens. That token, it may be spread across several tokens across the PulseChain ecosystem and in PulseX. So all of that value was from DEX volume. So this isn't like total Ethereum. I made sure not to use all of Ethereum's transaction costs. This is just from dexes, which is what PulseX is going to be. And so these numbers are potential added volume to PulseX. So we could have an extra $1.5 billion worth of volume in the DEX. So that's just extra that I haven't heard anyone talk about since we have such lower fees. All that money that went to fees is no longer going to fees. It's now more volume of the token. Like, because those people now have that monetary value in themselves instead of giving it to the miners. So I think that's a pretty cool pumpamental. Little hidden bonus of being in the best ecosystem with the cheaper fees. You get more money unlocked. Now, people in the Pulse Theory, Game Theory Telegram group, some of those guys are really awesome. A guy named Lynx, I told him I would shout him out in this video, made this awesome, he made two awesome charts. So, or spreadsheets. And he's, look at it. Lynx made this, I put this here. So shout out to him. He's in the Pulse Theory chat. He's an admin now. He did a great job. Because this is stuff I would like to see in the chat more often, is people having an idea. I'm going to research these numbers. How did this work out? Put it in a spreadsheet. Check it out. Make sure you, like, if you have a question, then we can help you figure out something in the spreadsheet or something. So anyway, he went and manually found all of the, for the past 7 days, the basically trading volume and potential PulseX buyback amounts we could see. So I added up, and then I added this down here, which is just the ETH ones, because those are the only ones being copied over, and what we can expect to see if we like added all of that buy or trading volume from just the Ethereum ones. So all of them, all the Ethereum ones added together is around $14 billion in 7 days. And so that would be 8 billion of day buyback? That can't be right. Oh, 8 million it says. Whew. Wow. Anyway, that would have been crazy. All right, so that's 8 million in daily buyback if we were to suck up all of the trading. Obviously, we're not going to get all liquidity from Ethereum and all volume. So I went down here and I just divided by 10 of the yearly volume we could see. You know, we can get a tenth of all of Ethereum's volume, in my mind. And so we end up with 44 million, I want to say $45 million of automatic buy pressure if we get a tenth of Ethereum's volume. What? What? Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, guys. I think that's buy pressure, you know? And some people were like, "Oh, dude, 40 million, that's not even a lot. That's nothing. It's extra. This is $45 million extra buy pressure. It's not the only buy pressure." People who see that every year exchanges are growing, more volume, not less, more users, not less, are coming to this ecosystem. We're seeing more volume every year. We saw an 8x in volume from 2020 to 2021. We may see another 8x. Maybe it's a 10x. Maybe we get more volume in another whole year as more and more people get onboarded. And so when you see just more and more people coming in, that means more volume in the future, not less. So this will keep growing, in my mind. And I think it'll grow at a faster rate than other exchanges do, just because it's built so much better. And that means that this buy pressure is just going to keep going up. And I think other people are going to buy before this pushes the price up against them. Why would you wait a year or more when you know that this amount of money is going to go in? And the only people who can sell are people who market bought it and aren't getting it for free as some yield farm. Those people are only going to sell when they've made insane gains. That's what I'm going to do. So, and this is just a tenth of the volume. Like, what? Like PancakeSwap, just the one that's just on Binance Smart Chain, they get just by themselves over on their own chain 200 million. 200 million would be our buyback. 200 million. What the heck? Like this is so conservative. You guys don't understand. It's so crazy. And that's just extra because people want to own this so that they can experience the appreciation that's going to happen as we get more and more and more and more volume over time. Now, if you don't think the exchange is going to have a lot of volume and Pulse Chain's not going to do so hot, people aren't going to value the tokens, we have a bigger issue there than the buyback system. That means something is critically wrong with the whole plan. So I wouldn't. If you're worried about that, then you don't believe in the whole Pulse Chain ecosystem working out. So to bet against to bet against PulseX is to bet against everything on Pulse Chain, in my opinion. You don't want to bet against Richard Hart and his new chain and its success and its value of its tokens. Anyway, don't bet against the king. Let's talk about buybacks. So Disney in like 2016 or 2015, they did insane buybacks of their company, which just pushes the price up of the stock. They buy up the stock because there's too much out there with their cash reserves, and it pushes the price up. It's just what they do in the stock market when if they feel the price is too low for their shares. They also do dividends too, and it's not impossible for us to change the code in the future for PulseX to, instead of only buy up PulseX, it could change to revenue share in the form of some other token. So you could potentially get even like stablecoin or something like that in the future. You just split it up again into buys this up and then distributes it almost like a dividend yield. So that would be super cool. The thing is about stock buybacks and stuff and dividend yields is a lot of people think that it's not good for the long-term health of the company because paying out money to the stockholders just means you didn't spend that on research and development and marketing and pushing the pushing the project as far as you can into the future, like investing in your future company. If you're giving it to people, then that means you don't have it to do research and development. And so a lot of stocks, like even like Amazon, does not pay out dividends. So why are people holding that? Because it appreciates, because more people buy it over time, because they know that Amazon is so successful, and they see it as being more successful in the future because they're investing so much in themselves. That's exactly what PulseX is doing. PulseX is investing in itself, buying it up, not letting people get shares free, like cheap, because we have a great product that everyone wants to use, and so it's investing in itself. There's also a little dev fee, like 3% of every fee is sent to a dev address, and so that allows we're not expecting anything from that. No expectations here, but that is another continual income stream that allows any developers, we'll just assume, Richard Hart's team, it allows them to build even more infrastructure and more upgrades and keep it going. It's a decentralized company in a way, what I like to think of it. So it's decentralized enough that there's no central point of failure. The stuff gets launched, it can't be stopped. But there is a driving force pushing for better products for everybody. Stuff that we need, like better wallet, better exchange, better ecosystem that we don't have to pay insane gas fees for. Aren't you happy that's being created? Now, it costs a lot of money to pay developers to spend all their time building the stuff. Are you paying the developers? I don't think so. Somebody has to front that cost. And so somebody, I think, should benefit from eventually creating that. They shouldn't just do it for free. All right, what else we got? Did we talk about everything? I definitely want to thank everybody who has been following and clicking the bell and watching my videos. You guys are awesome. I'm so blessed to have have a community that is so generous and helpful, and you guys are great in the Telegram chat, and I really appreciate all the kind words. I get so many comments. They're so nice. I get so many DMs, so many private messages in the different platforms. I'm sorry if I'm short with some people in DMs. I don't have if I spend all my time really because a lot of people ask in-depth questions in personal messages, and I would rather those questions be asked in chats so that everyone can benefit, as opposed to me one to one answering every single person's question about how they should invest. You shouldn't take, there's no financial advice here. I don't give it. So you shouldn't be asking those questions anyway. I appreciate that you value my opinion, but I want everyone to benefit from questions. So if it's a personal investment question, I would recommend going to pulsechain.com, t.me/pulsechain.com for any new people to crypto. And if you're into the more game theory, in-depth talking about new ideas, or you found out, whoa, this is actually pretty crazy how this works if you understand it. If you want to do that kind of thinking stuff that's not so elementary, I guess, then come to the t.me/pulse theory group. If you like making spreadsheets and figuring stuff out, we do too. Love that kind of stuff. And we got really smart guys in there. We're figuring out everything. So check that out. Let me see if there's one more thing here. Yeah, I think I talked about that. Yep, talked about that. Awesome. All right. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Uh, I don't like to. I took multiple takes of this, so I had to just make myself finish this one. Sorry if I went a little fast. Just feel free to rewatch it, or if I went too slow, double speed. Recommend that. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. There's a lot of cool stuff going on with Richard Hart projects. I think everyone should check out his stuff. Do your research on Richard. He is an awesome guy, awesome human being. He really wants to make the world a better place, and I do too. So the way we can do that is by reaching out to the people we know, letting them know about this awesome opportunity that is crypto, where people are getting insane. We're getting insane returns at this stage in crypto. Eventually, when everyone has a crypto wallet and a lot more of this time has gone by, there's less and less, reward to be had. So help out your family and friends now. It's still early. We need to get the message out there, and I think these are the best projects to do that. So yeah, I think that's everything. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a happy new year.